gentleman offers to request.
Yeah, don't lock the camera. Don't lock the camera.
Yeah, is he going now?
Thank you so much.
Please take a seat. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of myself and the staff here at the Sacramento Valley National Cemetery, we welcome you. It is an honor to serve our veterans and their families. Your loved one will be interred among some of the nation's finest. His site will be available for visitation after 4 p.m. today, following that 365 days a year from sunrise to sunset. We are about to commence with military honors during playing of the taps, folding of the flag, as well as rifle volleys. I ask that if you are comfortably able to, please stand and place your right hand over your heart. Any current and former military, please render the proper hand salute. I will warn you, rifle volleys can be quite loud, so if you have sensitive hearing or little children, please prepare their ears now. At this time, I'd like to introduce the United States Army Honor Guard, as well as the Service Veterans of Northern California Volunteer Honor Guard. Please rise. Stand by for volleys. Please be seated.
behalf of the President of the United States, the United States Army, and a grateful nation, please accept this flag as a symbol of our appreciation for our loved ones' honorable and faithful service.
On behalf of the United States Army, I'm presenting these shell casings to you, which represent the 3 volleys performed here today. The volleys signify your loved one who left the field of battle for the final time and is now at rest. May you rest in peace.
That would conclude the military honors portion of the service. At this time, if anybody would like to say a few words, the floor is open.
For anybody that doesn't know me, Dad told us I was good at. And I would hope that you guys would join me in reciting 23rd Psalm. So I'll start and please join in. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He maketh me to lie down in green pastures. He leadeth me beside the still waters. He restoreth my soul. He leadeth me in the path of righteousness for his name's sake. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil. For thou art with me. Thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me. Thou preparest the table before me in the presence of my enemies. Thou anointest my head with oil. My cup runneth over. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I will dwell in the house of the Lord forever. Amen. Okay, in no way do I want to be disrespectful of the 23rd Psalm, but when I was printing this out, there were so many things that reminded me about my dad. Dad never wanted for anything, except maybe not work in the graveyard shift at UNIVAC. He knew the Lord would provide for all his needs. The green pastures were the homestead in North Dakota, where his home was for his first 13 years, and they held his fondest memories. We lived in Lake Elmo, which was right next to Stillwater, Minnesota, where he had built a home between his parents and his brother Harvey's houses out of a two-car garage kit from Montgomery Ward's. One room, no running water, no plumbing, but we didn't know we were poor because we were well loved and we never complained. Dad never feared death because he knew the Lord will be well giving him a home. It might be hard for you to believe, but my father had no enemies. He treated everyone fairly, with respect. He was the most gentle, kind, and patient person that always spoke the truth. Anoints my head with oil. Dad loved his head rubbed. When Cookie and I were young, she would sit on the floor. Dad would sit in his recliner, and I would stand behind him and rub his head, and he would brush her hair. And then we'd switch places. My cup runneth over. Dad always had a cup of coffee in his hand, a pack of juicy fruit gum in his pocket, and cookies and ice cream at the ready. Dad loved music. He played many instruments. Folks were always coming over, or we were always going to somebody's place for jam sessions. He encouraged his children to play instruments too. He loved playing music in church. When I was little, we changed churches 7 times because he was looking for a church that had a good choir and a good band. And if not a band, he wanted to start one. And he finally found that, I think, that open Bible. The day Dad was moved from the hospital to hospice care, he was in a lot of pain. While trying to comfort Dad, the hospice nurse Lilibet and I heard Dad humming. He was, I'm sure and we couldn't make out what it was he was singing. And she said, he's humming Nearer My God to Thee. She found it on the phone. We punched it in. She laid it by his pillow, and his face immediately relaxed, and he was calm. He started humming again, and we joined in singing and crying because it was so beautiful. Jim put some hymns on an old cell phone and left it by his head with instructions not to turn it off. I think it gave Dad great comfort. I will miss you. I will miss all our theoretical talks about God, the universe, and mankind. I will miss you terribly.
Well, I have some similarities, so we all remember a lot of things the same. My dad was always kind and gentle. He never raised his voice to anyone that I ever remember. Always a loving man and a devoted Christian. He read his Bible every single night before he went to sleep. When we moved him out of his room at the assisted living, my sister had to carefully put his Bible pages back together because it was literally falling apart. She tried to give him a new one, but he liked his old one. He also had a huge heart for animals, though he didn't have much choice, as I was always bringing home strays. One of my fondest memories is when I retired, I took him on a trip to Tagus, North Dakota, his birthplace, just the two of us. Growing up with 5 other siblings, 3 sisters and 2 brothers, they lived in a tiny house that his father built, which was supposed to be temporary until he built a larger house, which never happened. They had no running water. They had a well with the best tasting water in the county, as my dad always said. They had a wood-burning stove to bake and cook their meals. He rode a horse to school or walked to the one-room schoolhouse a couple miles away. There were only 6 kids in his class, all of different ages. With all the hardships of living in a freezing cold temperature and horrible winters, most of his memories were fond ones. When we were there, we went into Minot, and the clerk actually remembered my dad's family. He was thrilled. Pretty amazing. I am so thankful to have that memory to look back on. A couple of times when my dad might be in the kitchen alone, he was making himself breakfast, and I would ask him questions about things I was afraid of that I'd seen maybe on TV, wars, dying. He would explain these things logically and cast a different light on it, and all of a sudden I would feel relieved. We would go on walks sometimes as adults. He loved to walk the neighborhood. We would have nice talks about our life and my family. He was always interested in Stacy's work and Devin and Shelby's lives and what they were doing. Our dad also had his stories about being in the Army and when he was a guard during the occupation of Japan. Interesting for sure. I will miss my dad and his company. I am thankful to have all the fond memories of him and his love. It gives me peace, knowing that now he's with my mom and his parents and siblings, and where he knew he would always be through the grace of God. Thank you.
We have enough time for one more person who'd like to say a few words.
My grandpa was indeed a really gentle, kind, caring man. He taught me a lot about just the general understandings I have today about electronics, mechanics. He would definitely tell me stories about when he was in Japan, how he would do simple things like he enjoyed walking along a set of railroad tracks, talking with some guards there on the other side, or policemen from the local area. how he talked about North Dakota and his homestead there, how just all kinds of little small simple things that he really relished, seemed to really enjoy a lot of things in life, whether they be large important events or little small things. He seemed to have a great appreciation for everything. And whether it was another person or something as small as a spider or a housefly, he don't hurt it. Let it be, it's not hurting you. It's definitely one of the kindest, most gentle people I've ever known. And on this one,
That would conclude our service. So on behalf of myself and the staff here at Sacramento Valley National Cemetery, we do thank you for coming out today, and we wish you a safe travels home. Thank you.
We're gonna be heading over to a restaurant. We have rations for lunch. We'd all like to come join us. It's, this is a small little place in Dixon. So